So, after reviewing all of the readings and theorist presentations, I think that I agree with a mix of two different theories, specifically Zoltan's theory of creativity in math and with social constructivism. Constructivist theories in general believe that students construct their own learning based on their environment, and social constructivism focuses on the interactions between students and their peers and students and their teachers, their social environment in general. I find myself agreeing with social constructivism ideas because I recognize the importance of bouncing ideas off of those around you, as well as getting to hear different perspectives and ideas on how to solve problems. And I believe that this fosters critical thinking and problem solving skills, which is beneficial for students in all subject areas, not just in math. I've experienced this in a lot of my math classes growing up, and I think that not only does it help students think more creatively, but it can also help students better understand the math that they're doing when they hear it from a different point of view. It can also help them figure out a better way for themselves to do it. For example, if I want to add a certain way, but I hear a student do it differently, and I'm like, oh, that's way more efficient and effective for my brain. Now I have that thought that I wouldn't necessarily have had before. Additionally, I find myself agreeing with Zoltan's theory as we learned about from Cameron. Zoltan believes that math should be taught creatively using play, and he also has the stages of learning theory that has 6 different stages of learning math, especially as they relate to play. And I agree with him that most of the time I think math is taught to students in rote ways, and it makes the subject really boring and uninteresting, and it just doesn't help students connect with the content, nor do I think it helps them understand why they're learning it, which is, in my opinion, and I'm sure most of yours, a very important part of math is not just doing it to do it, but understanding why you're doing it. I think that this is what keeps students from being interested in math later on in life and makes people stray away from like STEM type careers, which is what our world is based on, in my opinion. And I believe that when you can foster fun and exciting math environments, it aids in students' critical thinking and problem solving skills as well. And this is where I believe it ties well with the social constructivism theory. So, to connect these ideas in a future classroom setting, I thought back to an activity that I had worked on with a couple other classmates to introduce in one of my previous math classes called Tic Tac 20. I would use this activity with Standard 2.5, which states the student will A, recognize and use the relationships between addition and subtraction to solve single step practical problems with whole numbers to 20, and B, demonstrate fluency with addition and subtraction within 20. So, how this game works is students will be given a 4x4 tic tac toe board and a 10-sided number die, numbers 0 through 9, and 0 is a valid number to use during this game. Students take turns using the number that the die lands on, and they will write that number in an open space on the given board. Then they will continue to take turns until a student is able to place the 4th number in a row that adds up to 20. So this means that the numbers they use in their final equation don't necessarily have to be their own numbers that they've placed. They can use opponents' numbers. However, ultimately, you have to strategize to place numbers in correct spaces to win. I think that this is a great activity because it can be modified for many different age groups by using different operations and different end goal numbers, and I think it allows for students to see the way their opponent thinks as well, because it can be played in partners or as a whole group with the class and the teacher, so that everyone can discuss their thought process throughout, and this is where it ties back into social constructivism. I think back to my practicum experience and remember that students being so bored during every one of their math lessons, and when it came my turn to create a lesson plan, I wanted to challenge them but try and bring it in a fun and exciting way because I hated seeing them sit there bored and just do it to do it. So I ended up employing Zoltan's theory without even knowing it, and I can attest to how well students took to it. And these kind of reactions from students are what make me really excited to continue and keep using these theories in my future classrooms.